broadcast. Today I'm going to go over some of the basics and some of the really advanced stuff on how to buy a car. There are guys with desks right next to mine that can learn from this broadcast. If you've sold cars, if you didn't do it for 10 years, this is going to open your eyes up to some stuff. I'm going to start right here with the first one. This one, somebody needs a $5,000 used car. This is tough. That's why I have good luck written here. Typically, it's going to be 10, 11, 12-year-old car with over 100,000 miles on it. Now, somebody that's had the car for the last 12 years, typically they don't decide to sell it because of fashion. They decide to sell it because their local mechanic says, well, the frame's rotted on this, it's about to give way, your automatic transmission is done, the next bill is going to be $2,000 or $3,000. That's very typical. Now, everything I say is a generalization, so there are ways around that. But you want to know why the car is available. That's why word of mouth is the best way to buy one of these cars. You've got somebody whose grandmother just passed away. They got a 12-year-old car. They haven't driven it much. But please have a mechanic check it out before you buy it. This one you're going to probably pay cash for, and you're probably buying it because it's the only option that you have. So the rest of what I talk about isn't going to really affect this one. The next one, this is a pretty common request, $10,000 car. And I'm, again, generalizing, 6-year-old car, so it's probably 2011, probably has 75,000 miles on. It's not going to have a real certification, little or no warranty. $10,000 plus tax, financing with $1,000 down, you're looking at about $180 a month. Again, generalization. I do want to point out, if you go this route, 3 years from now, you're going to have a car that's equivalent to a 2008 now with 111,000 miles on it, and you're going to owe about $4,300 at that point, 3 years from now. And at that point, you probably need tires, brakes, you're probably out of warranty. It's all on you. 5 years, you'll own it, but it's the equivalent of a 2006 car with 136,000 miles on it. Now, if you're going to keep a car for 10 years, it could work, but there are those issues. Next one, more expensive car, still used, 2014 used car, it's certified, it's warranted, it's probably a 2014 with 30,000 miles on it, $14,500 plus tax, $2,000 down, your payment's $248 a month, your car is warranted, you got a good situation. However, 3 years from now, you're probably out of warranty. It's the equivalent of now a 2011 car with 66,000 miles on it. You still owe $6,000, and it's probably time for tires and brakes or awful close to it. 4 years doesn't get much better. It's the equivalent of a 2010 car with 78,000 miles. You owe $3,000. 5 years you own it, but it's the equivalent of a 2009 car with 100,000 miles on it. Now, the American Dream, 2018 new car. List price $23,415. And again, I took a real car on each one of these steps, worked it out with the current manufacturer's program, worked it out with a very thin deal for the dealership. So we're selling you this car after all the programs for $21,600. It's got a great warranty, everything's new, smells new, looks new, you get to choose what color it is. $2,000 down, your payment's $371. Here's the interesting thing. Over 3 years, you'll have $15,300 invested in the car. You'll owe $9,000. You're getting close to time for tires and brakes. After 5 years, you own it. Now, I've saved this one for last. I think this is going to open some eyes. Leasing the same exact car. And I'm going to give you some new terms that you're probably not familiar with. Cap cost in a lease is what you're paying for the car. This is $20,455. It is less than what you paid for the car over here at $21,600. The manufacturer has what in the business is termed as trunk money, lease cash. There's a discount further for the dealership if somebody leases the car. Now, why would they do this? Well, I'm not an accountant, But the manufacturer owns the car. You're basically renting it. So they get to depreciate a new car for 3 years. That's a windfall. That's worth a lot more than the extra discount that they're giving you. The next, and this one's a key one, the residual. This is what you can buy the car for at the end of the lease. Now, I know people all over the country and maybe further are going to see this. In New York State, the residual has to be guaranteed. Doesn't have to be guaranteed in every state. So the first thing is the residual guaranteed? The next thing is, would you want to own the car for that? This is critical. A lot of manufacturers increase the residual because it's a way to get an extra 50,000 cars on the road, and it's somebody else's problem 3 years from now. Now, if things work out perfectly, where you drive the car for 3 years and hand the keys back, the value of the residual is the manufacturer's problem, but not yours. But that's not always how it works. Last new term, money factor. This is what determines how much interest you pay. Now, this one is tremendously aggressive. It's 0.00001. It's almost non-existent. Now, they can do this, again, for the same reason that they can lower the capital cost, because they're getting to depreciate the car. So on this particular lease, up front is $1,663. You then have 35 payments, because one of them's in here, of $243 a month. Now, there's some big advantages to the lease. You have the option to turn it in. Now, over here, you own this car. Somebody flies through a stop sign and broadsides the car. There's $8,000 worth of damage, but doesn't total it. Your insurance company fixes the car. But then all of the online internet services will say crash with another vehicle. When you go to trade it in, it's going to take away 25%, 35% of the value of the car. In this case, somebody broadsides your car, you have it fixed. At the end of 3 years, you hand your keys back and walk away from it. You have the option to buy for $11,700. Now watch this. Total out of your pocket on the 3 years is $10,179. Over here on the finance, it's $15,000. Now, on this one, you owe $9,000 after 3 years. On this one, you owe $11,700, but you've saved $5,200 in the meantime. So this one's actually cheaper to buy if you've leased it for 3 years first. Now, each car that you look at, if it's a new car, you should look at both of these options, compare them at the 3-year point. What's the car going to be worth? How much has it cost me up to that point? Now, let's go all the way back here. This is the ultimate crapshoot. You're going to get lucky less than half the time. It may be the only option you have. If so, you have to take it, but use those tips. $10,000 used car, man, your exposure here is almost immediate, and it could be more than the cost of the car. $14,000 used car. I sell these right and left, because not everybody listens to a car salesman. Again, you're going to pay more than you do on the lease. On the lease, you know exactly what your cost is for 3 years. No, you don't own it after 3 years, but 3 years owning this may be more of a problem than a solution. Now, this will work for some cars better than this, because if it's a limited edition car, the manufacturer's not going to give away the money factor. This could be a big number. He may not give you lease cash. So you're going to have to look at them both. So please do that. Sit down with a disclosure telling you every dollar and cent. Figure out what the car is going to be in 3 years and compare the two at that point. See what your goal is. Now, if you buy a car and keep it for 10 years, this is going to work out a lot. The worst mistake I see, day in and day out, is somebody finance a car for 5 years, trade it in at 4 years with little or no equity, and they paid $100 more a month for the 3 or 4 years that they've owned the car, without it benefiting them when it comes time to turn it in. Now, this is some heavy stuff, lots of numbers and facts, new stuff. It is a little bit behind the scenes. Next week, same time, Tuesday at 5:30, I'm going to do Stevie 5K's top 10 list. There's going to be something that's a little fun, and for anybody with any kind of business, there's going to be some interesting stuff for managers in there too. So hopefully I'll see you next week. Please share this. This is good stuff. Everybody can use it. Thanks for watching.